Hey Insomniac, can I copy your homework looking game? How do these gotcha games get away with straight up ripping off Spider-Man?
My dude, if Sony actually had a problem with this game, then why would they show it on their own fucking YouTube channel? What's up, Space Pirates? This is your Admiral, the charmingly churlish Dr. Disaster, and the game Ananta, aka the anime GTA, has set the world on fire in the past few days, first by releasing a trailer that was mind-blowingly awesome, and second by setting up shop at this year's Tokyo Game Show and once again blowing people's minds. Gamers see this game, the sort which Western devs refuse to make these days, and we just gotta say, oh yeah! The art is incredible, the size and scope of the world in Ananta is jaw-dropping, and the combat looks fluid and just downright fun. Obviously, when the full game comes out, it's possible that it will end up being disappointing. Maybe it's a disjointed mess or something like that. But based on what we have seen thus far, Ananta has jumped up to pretty much the top upcoming game that I am looking forward to. But naturally, since this is something that gamers enjoy, there are a bunch of game journalists out there who feel compelled to shit all over it.
I'm chalking this all up to female menopausal situations.
It's well known that the game journalists like to crap on anything that doesn't fit into their exclusive club of Western and Japanese studios, most likely because they don't get the same level of access to some of these Chinese and Korean developers that they're used to. The other day, I showed you this article here from the site The Gamer, smearing Ananta, but there are a ton of others. Here's Polygon crapping all over the game. Here is the Gaming Bible, attacking Ananta as being shameless, and you will notice that all of these complaints are based around the fact that the game's swinging traversal system bears more than a passing resemblance to Insomniac's Spider-Man. So, naturally, the Sony White Knight shills felt the need to swoop in to save Milady PlayStation.
Well, what is with this Milady stuff? What are you, a knight of the round table? Come on.
It's really funny, though, watching these people try to defend Insomniac's honor because Ananta's trailer was prominently showcased on PlayStation's own YouTube channel, and of course, PlayStation owns Insomniac, so not only are they okay with it, but considering that the publisher of the game, NetEase, has had a high-profile partnership with Sony in the past, it would appear likely that Sony has given permission to use these animations. In fact, it looks as though we have some level of confirmation that this is the case, as I'm going to show you in a minute here. These people in games journalism are just inventing reasons to hate on something that gamers like, but their reasons for disliking it are flimsy to the point of ridiculousness, so now we can all get back to ogling Ananta's beautiful trailer.
Attractive! Nice software!
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I've had a lot of people tell me that they have been unwillingly unsubscribed to the channel, so make sure that you check into that, and there's been a lot of talk about restricted mode being automatically enabled for a lot of users on YouTube, which would cut you off from a lot of your favorite channels, so don't forget to check into that as well, and turn it off if it's been turned on and you don't want it. But alright, let's take a look at this story about Ananta being smeared as a ripoff of Insomniac's Spider-Man. I said the other day, when talking about this game, that I was unfazed by these complaints because they didn't seem to be actionable, meaning that maybe Sony could sue them over the use of the animations, but they clearly have no intention of doing it for whatever reason. And if they aren't suing, then I fail to see how similar animation styles affect me in any way whatsoever. Grums talked about this on X. Nick Tech was one of the people whining about Ananta, showing some comparisons to Insomniac Spider-Man, and they wrote here,
Ananta is never beating these allegations of copying the Spider-Man 2 animations.
And Grums, who worked on the OG WoW team, he wrote in response to that, OG Blizzard was never original. Our formula was to take what works from other games and combine them, then add some unique flavoring on top, just a sprinkle. It works. Ananta is just doing what Blizzard did. And as a gamer, I simply fail to see how this is supposed to be a bad thing for me. But if, for whatever reason, you still have some kind of moral crusade against this sort of thing, allow me to show you why it appears as though these animations were basically gifted to the Ananta devs from Sony. Permaband, over on X, posted this in response to another one of the professional critics, aka corporate shills. In fact, they were responding to this tweet here, where Synth Potato wrote,
Hey Insomniac, can I copy your homework looking game? How do these gotcha games get away with straight up ripping off Spider-Man? Not saying swinging mechanics shouldn't be done, but these are literally the Spider-Man 2 animations.
Anyhow, Permaband responded to this, saying, to answer your question in the second paragraph, number 1, Ananta is heavily advertised and marketed by Sony, and as evidence of this, once again, look at this here. The trailer for Ananta was shown on the fricking PlayStation YouTube channel. I promise you that before anything is ever shown on a big corporate channel like that, they will have armies of people at Sony looking over the trailer to make sure there isn't something offensive or legally compromising or anything like that. Sony definitely would have noticed that the animations in Ananta are basically the same as what you see in Spider-Man because, as Permaband points out in point number 2, Sony owns Insomniac Games. They are technically Sony animations, and even if somehow it escaped their notice that these animations of theirs were the same that were being used in Ananta when reviewing the video, they definitely would have heard rumblings by now from gamers as we discussed this topic, and they definitely would have taken the trailer down if they had a problem with it. But that brings us to point number 3. NetEase published Ananta and is also partnered with Marvel and produces arguably the most popular Marvel game of recent years. So Marvel will have likely been on board with this too, since NetEase has made them a shitload of money with Marvel rivals. And then that brings us to point number 4. NetEase and Sony had a high-profile partnership back in 2021. Likely their partnership roles have expanded over the years, so if there really was a problem, Sony would be the one to sue. Evidently, Sony is not just fine with it, but supportive of it. Sony likely gave NetEase their explicit permission to use the Spider-Man mechanics, probably even asked some Insomniac devs to help with the implementation. You can have your opinion on how one-to-one it looks, and I agree, but it's a nothing burger. The parties involved, based on available facts, likely consented to it. And to be honest, this whole situation reminds me of one of the awfuls, an affluent white female liberal, getting all butthurt when they see someone doing the so-called cultural appropriation of, like, Native American culture or something like that. This whole situation is basically the game journalists and professional critics getting all offended on behalf of their buddies at Insomniac. They are clearly looking for a pat on the head from their corporate masters. You will notice that there aren't too many normal people who are getting upset about this. Sure, loads of people noticed the similarities, but their response was basically the same as mine, which was essentially to just shrug my shoulders and say, who gives a shit? But to top it off, we have a bit of confirmation here that Sony and Insomniac did give permission to NetEase to use Spider-Man animation. This post on X is from a person who has been attending the Tokyo Game Show this weekend. Here is another post this person made showing a photo from the Tokyo Game Show, suggesting that they are indeed at the event, and here is another post from this person showing the same thing. But this is the post where they offer some confirmation that this Ananta controversy is a nothing burger. This guy wrote, in response to the permabanned tweet, can confirm, today I asked the Ananta devs about this at Tokyo Game Show about possible conflicts with Spider-Man plagiarism complaints. They told me there's no issue for similar reasons. So basically, yes, Ananta has some level of permission to use elements of the Spider-Man game in their game, and given that fact, I sincerely fail to understand how this is in any way bad for me as a gamer. Maybe it's bad for the shills who wanted to drum up controversy and find a way to demonize a game that is not a part of their club, but for me, I'm not bothered at all. But I'm gonna leave it there. What do you think about these Ananta animations? Does this sort of thing make you not want to play Ananta, or are you totally cool with it like me? Drop your thoughts into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching me, Hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.